My name is Dilip, Sadh. I think I've been teaching last 4-5 years. We place in IUP. In fact, last couple of years I had much longer sessions. I was here for many days. This is a slightly shorter version of the session because I live a little far. I live in New Jersey. So it's not a good idea to have a class on Saturday morning, right? You agree with me? Completely. So what are we gonna do today? So we have a 9 to 3 session today, and then we have one session on November 6th, and we have one session on November 13th. So those are the 3 sessions we have. Today's session is in person, so I'm there with you, I'm talking with you, explaining what I need to talk to you guys, and also putting an emphasis that why we are doing this session, what is the purpose of doing this session, and then what is our agenda item, what all I'm going to talk today, and what I'm going to talk in the next remaining 2 sessions, which is on November 6th and November 13th. November 6th and November 13th sessions would be only online. So anywhere you are, you could be at home, your workplace, or wherever you have internet, you can connect. So you don't need to come in classroom or wherever. So you can internet or phone you need. It's a video we're gonna do today. So we're supposed to start 9, so almost already 40-45 minutes we invested. Thank you, Jenny. Again, I appreciate opening door and all those things. I never faced this problem before though, because I've been coming so many times. It works pretty good. So I just go there and it works fine. Can you guys hear my voice in the back? Yeah. The question is, do you even want to hear my voice? Probably loud, right? Okay. I will try to speak as loud as possible, but if I'm not, then let me know. So today's session is scheduled. Do we have any marker?
There's one on the board.
Oh. So. Very interesting. Thank you very much. If you can do that. So today's session, we plan to take a 1 hour break. Around 12:30, we'll take a break, but 1:30, and we will take 2 more breaks in between for tea, coffee. So that's how. So it's at 9:30, maybe around 11ish. We're gonna take another 10-15 minute break, and then we take lunch breaks and then we'll grab, and then we'll take another break around 2:30, and then we'll go around 3 o'clock. Now, why we are doing this class? What is the purpose of this class? What I intend to talk in this class? This class we started a few years back, talking with the Professor Prashant and few other professors. Thank you very much. You're not permanent. So the purpose of this class, in a very simple sense, is to introduce you all with SAP ecosystem. So I'm basically going to talk to you about various products. If I talk about actually all the products in SAP landscape, it's just not possible. It's taken many hours. But at least some of the important products of SAP ecosystem I intend to talk today and the next remaining 2 classes which we have. Now, why do you want to talk about SAP? Because from the business perspective, from industry perspective, it is one of the important ERP products used very extensively. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, if you have any issues, you can raise your hand. I will answer your question. And giving a brief introduction, who am I? I'm a fairly old person. That is what this slide basically represents. Approximately, if I talk about all overtime and all work I've done, I'm approximately 200 years old. I'm not talking about my physical age, I'm talking about my mental age. So I'm doing SAP about 15 years now. I started 97, 98. Many companies I did SAP implementation work in US, Canada, Europe, India, many other places. This is not the complete list, speaking, I can't put all of them, but some of the companies I was associated where I implemented SAP. And in 15 years, I worked with 3 companies primarily. I was a senior director with Capgemini, and after that, I was senior director with Accenture, and in the last, I was associate partner with IUP. I don't work for anybody anymore. In fact, nobody hired me. So technically, I'm unemployed, but I don't work for anybody else. And last 1 year, I've taken teaching as full time. So I teach full time now, and many universities I teach. I'm very deeply associated with IUP for the last 4-5 years. Professor Prashant, Professor others, quite a few of them are good friends. And our idea is basically whatever little I know to share with you. I have visited many other universities, especially in the Boston. I was with the various universities. I went there, I talked to them. Very deeply associated with others, MIT and others. And in SAP, somebody asked me some fine day how many students I might have taught. I actually don't know. This is a rough estimate, over 2,000, 3,000 students I might have taught. I come from supply chain background, so in SAP there are many areas I practice supply chain. So my area of expertise as a professional in SAP is supply chain. So I'm a supply chain person. I'm a mechanical engineer. I don't know anything about mechanical engineering anymore. I forgot everything. So don't ask me any mechanical engineering question. Long back. And these are some of the functions areas which I do. These are some of the industries, some of the type of industries I worked. Apparel, footwear, consumer product, chemical, pharma. These were some of the companies I was associated with. So I want to briefly talk that why is something like SAP. How many of you heard about SAP before? That's good. Most of you have heard about SAP. What have you heard about SAP? Yes, sir?
It's more or less like a one-stop shop over corporation. Kind of enables all the departments within a business, the finance, HR, operations.
I think very well said. Anybody else? What you heard about SAP when you say SAP? No volunteer? What's your name again?
Nick.
Nick. So what Nick mentioned SAP is an enterprise application company. It's a German company established in 1972, so it's a fairly old company. 90% of Fortune 10,000 companies use SAP. So any company, anywhere in the world, in US, in Europe, in Asia, in Africa, or South America, anywhere. So 90% of Fortune 10,000 companies use SAP. Any global organization, I always said, when you wake up in the morning, doing a toothpaste, Colgate, Palmolive, taking a shower using a Unilever product and putting in the shoes and shirt and trouser from any apparel footwear company, come to mind, Reebok, Nike, Adidas, any brand. You taking a seed, taking a food, taking a cereal, taking it from Kellogg, taking a car, all automotive companies, stop and gas station, any oil and gas company. You opening a computer, Lenovo or Apple or HP. You open a light, Philips. So in our day-to-day life, almost all products which we use, one thing is very common. They all use this. Now, why they use this? What Nick mentioned is very accurate. Is they manage their business using SAP. If I'm a Johnson Johnson, if I'm Colgate Palmolive, if I'm Reebok, if I'm Nike, if I'm ExxonMobil, if I'm Ford, I'm Chrysler, I'm General Motors, how do I run my business? If I'm Johnson Johnson, if I'm Merck, Pfizer, how I run my business? If I'm Centrum, I'm Apple. They use SAP to run their business processes. Now, if you go to Apple or Coke or Pepsi or any of these companies, what is a company? Company consists of a bunch of people. What does these people do? They are involved in certain business processes, certain business functions. What business functions? Finance, sales, marketing, production, quality, inventory, warehousing, customer issues, paying to their employees, hiring their employees, firing their employees. How they manage all those processes? They do it in SAP. So, more than likely, if you go on any company, of course, after doing this, you will work somewhere, that company would be using SAP. That is why something like SAP and understanding. Now, understanding SAP, of course, is not that easy. It takes a lot of time, a lot of detail. And that's not objective of this class, but at least introduce you with SAP ecosystem. So at least after today's class and 2 more classes which we have together, we can have a fair amount of idea about SAP ecosystem and various products and what these products do. You're not going to be expert, it's not possible, but in each of those products. Because it's such a huge ecosystem. 15 years of me doing SAP, I'm only expert in a couple of areas. There's so many other areas which I have no clue. Because they're so robust. I mostly work on the supply chain area of SAP. Other areas like finance and so many others, I never required to work because it's so robust, it's so detailed. So if you guys think like in class today and next class you would be any expert, that's not the right expectation. Idea is you should have a fair amount of idea what is this, so we can talk fairly accurately about this, what is SAP. Then I'm going to talk to you about SAP products, solutions and all that. So first and foremost, what SAP is stand for? SAP stands for Systems, Applications, Products for Data Processing. Take a note of that. What is SAP stand for? That is the SAP's meaning. It's a German company established in 1972. So from IT perspective, it's a fairly old company, means more than 40 years. So from IT perspective, it's very old. There are not many IT company which is 40 years old company. There are only few. Most of the company came very recently. There was no Google 40 years back. There were only select companies. And as far as enterprise applications is concerned, this is the important word, enterprise applications. Enterprise application means application which is used by enterprises to carry out their day-to-day business. How companies, how enterprises, how business organizations run their business on daily basis. They use SAP. Now, who are the competitor of SAP? Oracle. Good. Yes? Oracle. Good. Anybody? Any other name? Huh?
I was thinking on Oracle.
Yep. Anybody? Any other name? Oracle is a good name. Yes.
PeopleSoft.
PeopleSoft. Yes. Any other name? Competitor of SAP? There are quite a few companies. But if you talk about for the larger corporations, SAP's primary competitor is Oracle in larger space. Then there are a lot of smaller companies. I will not say. PeopleSoft also, as you said, is now part of Oracle. It's no more independent company. Oracle has purchased PeopleSoft. So primary competitor of SAP is Oracle. There are other products in SME segment. Microsoft. No wonder, right? They have everything. Microsoft have their own product. Microsoft Dynamics. You will be surprised though. Microsoft also uses SAP. A lot of people say, really? It's a fact. Microsoft in Washington, they use SAP to run their business. I'm not 100% sure that what all they do in SAP though, but they do use SAP. I have some of my students working in Microsoft doing SAP. All other tech companies come like Samsung, Apple, HP, IBM, all these larger corporations. So these are the competitors. Then there are a lot of ERP products in a smaller segment. If you talk about an SME segment, there are a lot of local ERPs. Hundreds of local ERPs are there. Every country has their own local ERP. In the US, there are a lot of local ERPs. In India, there are a lot of local ERP. I was talking to some people and they come with a huge list, which is like a country-specific, specialized products. But if you talk about the larger products, there was one very wonderful ERP which is completely died. BAN. B-A-A-N. BAN is a friendly say. It was a Dutch excellent product. Died. Didn't know what it is. But it was a wonderful company in ERP, local ERP. Lot of numbers which you see here. 90% Fortune 1000 company use SAP. So many thousand installations. All these numbers are old though. Employees and all that. So it is much more than that. I think if you talk about their employees, more than 60,000 or something. So it's a very long numbers. Now, this slide will give you a synopsis of what is SAP product portfolio. In the center, we have something called SAP ERP. What is ERP stand for? How many people knows what is ERP stand for? Yes.
Enterprise Resource Planning.
Enterprise Resource Planning. How many people knows what is CRM stand for? Yes, sir.
Customer resource management. Relationship management.
Customer relationship management. Of course, you are all SCM people. All of you are SCM, right?
Yeah.
All of you supply chain people. Welcome. I'm SCM too. What is PLM stand for? Yes.
Project lifecycle management.
Project lifecycle management. Okay. Anybody else? What is PLM stand for? You heard this word PLM? Anyone? PLM is product lifecycle management. Now, for a lot of companies, very important. I'm evolving this product. Tomorrow, I come up with this product. After that, I come up with this product. How do you manage the lifecycle of your product? PLM. How many of you heard the word SRM? SRM stands for Supplier Relationship Management. SRM, make a note, all of you. Supplier Relationship Management. There is also something called SAP Marketplace. You might have heard the term called B2B and B2C enterprise applications, right? We talk about, if you can go to apple.com, right? You can go to hp.com, you can go to bestbuy.com, you can order, of course, Amazon is a big marketplace. In SAP, you have several products which can be used to create marketplace. Then BI. How many of you know what is BI stand for? Somebody said? Business intelligence? You're right. Business intelligence is correct. EP, how many of you know what is EP stand for? EP stand for Enterprise Portal. Make a note of that. Enterprise Portal. Now, what is Enterprise Portal and where does Enterprise Portal get used? I will give an example of Johnson & Johnson. I'm doing some work for them. Johnson & Johnson, of course, is one of the largest companies of the world. It's a amazing company. When you go in their office, and over 150 years old company it is. It's still a wonderful company. And you can think about, there is hardly any country in the world where you will not find Johnson & Johnson, headache medicine or their other device products they manufacture. Now, one of the things they do is they have so many applications. How can we? You guys said it louder, I guess. So they have created a portal. Means anybody in there, so many applications they use single sign-on. If I need to log into Johnson & Johnson, you go to enterprise page. Of course, very important, financials, HCM. Do we know what is HCM means? Yes, sir.
Human capital management.
Human capital management. Very good. Now on the top, guys, there is something called SAP for industry. I mentioned to you that 90% of Fortune 10,000 companies use SAP. That basically means you're talking about a lot of different type of companies. You're talking about Johnson & Johnson. You're talking about Nike. You're talking about ExxonMobil. You're talking about Chrysler. You're talking about Pepsi. Now Pepsi is very different than Chrysler. Chrysler is very different than British Petroleum. And British Petroleum is very different than Johnson & Johnson. You will be surprised. They all use same SAP. All these companies not only in the US, but more than 130 countries, they all use same SAP. SAP in US and SAP in China, SAP in India, SAP in Japan is not different. Number two, SAP in pharma and SAP in oil and gas is not different. But if there is something called industry solutions are a small layer of product. So if Johnson & Johnson use SAP and Chrysler use SAP and ExxonMobil use SAP, they use same SAP. But for Chrysler, there is an automotive industry solution, a small layer of the product. For Johnson & Johnson, there is same product with industry solution pharmaceutical, and for British Petroleum is the same product with the oil and gas. SAP has 24 industry solutions. 24 industry solutions SAP has. So that basically means SAP can be used in 24 industries: retail, pharmaceutical, oil and gas, consumer product, apparel and footwear, automotive industry, discrete manufacturing, process industries, and so on and so forth. 24 industry solutions. Then here there is something called package solutions. There is also something I would like to talk about: country solutions. Country solutions. Now, what is the country solution? I mentioned to you that SAP in US, SAP in Brazil, SAP in Russia, SAP in China, SAP is in India, is same. But make no mistake, US business is not exactly same China business, or China business is not exactly same as Japan business, and it's not same as Brazil business. Every country have their own requirements. Every country has its own taxation. Every country has their own legal laws. You cannot say the way you do tax in US is same in Brazil or same in China or same in India. Then how do you do that? In US you have a 6 level of taxation: federal, state tax, county, city. There is no moderate. I was doing work in China. They have a different tax. I was in Johnson & Johnson. We are doing for Singapore. They have a different tax. They call GST. There is no GST in US. We are doing it before that in India. They have moderate. You heard about moderate? Modified value added tax. They are all very different. So how can you use the same product then? Answer to that is SAP also have country versions. So country versions basically means the core remains same. If you use SAP in like in Johnson & Johnson, for example, same SAP being used in more than 130 countries. Johnson & Johnson SAP used in US, Canada, whole Americas, whole Europe, almost entire Asia. Same SAP, but you put in a slice of their country product along with it. So when we implemented that in China, we put a China version out. When we implemented in India, we put an India version out. But core remains same. That is only like 1% and 0.5% of the function. Apart from that, SAP also have some commercial, or we call them legal applications, which is required by law of the land. For example, in US, we have something called GRC. GRC stands for Governance, Risk and Compliance. Now, where this product like GRC come into the picture? In US, two major events happened in last 1 decade, and those events has a profound impact the way we do business. One of them was bankruptcy of Enron. You heard about the company Enron? Enron was fourth largest company in the world. Let me say, fourth largest company in the world. In one fine morning, it was gone. Bankrupt. Nothing there. Then a lot of company laws came to manage and have a better transparency with the operations of the company. Because it's my company, I run it the way I want. I don't care about you looking into my business. But then government put some rules that there has to be transparency for the stakeholders. Another major event happened was 9/11. That put also another regulation that how do we do business with certain individuals, certain companies, certain countries. How do you govern that? So those are called solution packages. Now here, there is something called SAP All-in-One and SAP Business One. Do you guys heard this SAP All-in-One, SAP Business One word before ever? One very common perception and reality about SAP is that is very costly. It is used by large corporations. I also mentioned to you that SAP being used in more than 90% of Fortune 10,000 company. Now, when I say 90% Fortune 10,000 company, nevertheless, I'm talking about Fortune 10,000 companies. How about the smaller organizations? How about the organization which is like 100 million, 200 million, 50 million, 20 million? They have a business too. Not every company, Johnson & Johnson or Pepsi or Coca-Cola, I have a little guy. His business is 50 million. How do I manage that business? So SAP recognized, and now these are the new focus products, SAP All-in-One and SAP Business One. SAP All-in-One is SAP's product for medium-sized enterprise. So normally, rule of thumb is, if you are greater than 1 billion, you're gonna use this product. This is the central product, SAP ERP. So mostly companies greater than 1 billion use SAP ERP. Rule of thumb, no, this is not exact law. If you are less than 1 billion, but greater than, let us say, 100 million, you can use SAP All-in-One. But if you are less than 100 million company, I mean 20 million, 30 million, 40 million, SAP come up with this product called SAP Business One. They are completely separate product of SAP. A completely separate ERPs. Meet for 3 different sizes of enterprises. This SAP B1 which you see here, in fact is very cheap. Can you believe that how much SAP cost? Is huge amount of money. I did one project here a couple of years back in Boston. There was 250 people working almost 2 years on that project, costed $130 million. These SAPs are that costly, take so much time, so many resources and people and all that. But if my company is only 20 million, how I do it then? If my company only 40 million, I can't afford it. I can't afford half of the SAP software. It's so costly. Then SAP recognize that and they come up with SAP Business. This SAP Business One is pretty cheap. You can do it in few thousand. I was mesmerized. Frankly speaking, I didn't have any exposure to SAP even myself. Only a couple of years back, I saw it first time in the beginning of last year. And I said, I want to see what is SAP and how it look and all that. It was a really good product. Meat for smaller companies. I'm personally working a lot into this SME segment because that is my focus. I work with large corporations too, but I focus with the little guys, smaller companies, and then developing companies and all that. Then we have SAP NetWeaver. I would like you guys to make a note of this word called SAP NetWeaver. Now, what is SAP NetWeaver? This word you will hear a lot. We will talk a little bit more about what is SAP NetWeaver. SAP NetWeaver is SAP's newest platform. SAP NetWeaver is SAP's newest platform. So almost all these SAP products sits on this platform, and the name of that platform is SAP NetWeaver. We will talk about this a little bit more. What is SAP NetWeaver? And you see this here we have a BI, we have a MDM, XI, technology components and all that. We will talk a little bit more about them also, like what are those. But SAP NetWeaver, I want to make a note, is very important word because almost entire SAP ecosystem sits on this platform, which is called SAP NetWeaver. Services primarily is a software company. They produce sales software, other things also they do. But primarily SAP's focus is to produce software. That way, I think it's amazing company. This year I went to Florida, they have their global national convention they do. Approximately 50,000 people in 3-day workshop. And being a German company, they have so much stress on technology. A lot of people do ask me why SAP has been so successful. So many things you can talk about that. But one of the primary reasons is their emphasis on niche and it, like being 5 steps ahead of their competitors in terms of their technology adoption has been phenomenal. They're just very good in adopting to high, low, very high. They take a risk, they adopt technology. Not everything they do succeed, but they succeed mostly. And when I went there and I saw a lot of their product and what they do, and the kind of high tech they do it in Germany, is amazing. It's really good. Now, question is, why people use SAP? It is costly. Takes millions of dollars, hundreds of people to deploy, use SAP. Then why do people do that? Why companies, some CEO and president of the company wake up in the morning and say, let's spend 20 billion. Let's spend 100 million. Why they do that? You can talk so many things. That's my favorite topic. But I would like you guys to go a little bit in the history, a little bit giving a preview of certain things. We just mentioned that SAP is an ERP product, right? And we say that ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. ERP is a concept. ERP is a philosophy. And all these products, SAP, Oracle, PeopleSoft, Baan, Managestics, Microsoft Dynamics, and many other ERP. These are the product which is put on the concept called ERP. Now, this concept of ERP came in late 80s, 1980s. Before ERP, somewhere, I don't, did you guys heard the concept called MRP? What does MRP stand for? Okay. I would like to also introduce one more concept called MRP2. So in 1960s or 70s, when we have these large automotive industries and other industrial houses, then they have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of products, inventory to manage, maintain. How do they do it? That's where the MRP came into the place. In that, it was basically system working around inventory, materials, procurement, those kind of functions. In MRP2, they also include production. Then in the ERP, they also include finance and HR. If we talk about entire SAP ecosystem, these are the main processes. So you have SCM, HR, finance. So earlier in MRP and MRP2, we have basically this MRP processes. And then we came with a finance. And then we combine all these processes together. And this becomes ERP. So ERP consists of all these different business processes: finance, HR, inventory, warehousing, production, quality. And what do they do with these processes? See the word, integrate processes and information. SAP or any of these ERP products does something very simple, but yet very powerful. And that is being able to integrate all the processes of an enterprise. And by integrating all those processes, they get an integrated view of information. Why do I care that I integrate finance with HR and HR with the production and production with inventory, inventory with the warehousing, warehousing with the procurement? Why do we care about it? So I can have an integrated information. We had no functionality, we had no capability before where we can have an integrated information from enterprise. That is what all these ERPs do. And helps, you might have heard about management information system, enterprise information system. I'm going to talk about those as well. So all these ERP which came in late 80s, some of the management concepts emerged: business process engineering, you heard about BPR, core competence. And one of the concepts which came in late 80s was ERP. And SAP, Oracle, PeopleSoft, BAN, and many others, they are the ERPs. They are the product which is based upon concept called ERP. And what is that concept? Integrate all processes of an enterprise. And by integrating those processes, you also integrate information. Past 40 years of its existence, SAP has seen three fundamental incarnations. Three incarnations. Those incarnations are here. SAP R2, based upon mainframe. SAP R3, based upon client server. SAP NetWeaver, based upon web services. In its 40 years life cycle, these are the three fundamental incarnations which SAP has seen. SAP used to be called SAP R2. Then in 1992, R2 died. R3 came. R3 stands for 3 is a 3-layer client server architecture. One of the reasons you will be surprised with this story. When SAP was SAP R2, from 1972 till early 1990s, SAP was very much a local company. It's a German company, and almost all its customer was only in Germany. But when they come to R3, which was based upon client server, do you guys heard about the client server? They were the first major company to build their product on client server. Around 22 years back. That was a technological advantage they always had. Otherwise, there were many other ERP products, even at that time. But how SAP put them, their adoption, the first major adoption to client server technology. Now, last few years, client server technology is also gone. They basically use SAP NetWeaver, which works on web services. So 40 years, 3 incarnations. This is another view of the product evolution. You will have this presentation. I will send it to Professor Prashant. I think he will distribute to all of you, so you have a copy of it. This is another view of the product evolution. SAP R2, based upon mainframe. Then SAP came with something called SAP R3 Enterprise, R3. So this change happened in 1992. This architecture used to be called Basis. Then came 4.6C version about a decade back. You will be surprised. One of the, I think SAP considered like a second largest software company. I think first largest being Microsoft. Being, or whatever, number 2 or 3, whatever that number is. But it's a major company. It has only one product. Just one product. SAP ERP. For almost 2/3 of its life cycle, for all practical purposes, they had just one product. That's not true anymore though. Then if you see here, there is something called CRM. CRM, we talk about customer relationship management. We're going to talk about CRM again. Now CRM was the first product which came. Outside of SAP ERP, CRM was the one product which came. Then APO. Have you guys heard about APO? What APO stands for? stand for advance, planner, and optimizer. Those were the two first new dimensional product which SAP come up with. I'm gonna talk about those two products in more detail today and next subsequent classes. Then SAP came with something called SAP R3 Enterprise. You guys with me? Then it is R3 died. Then SAP came with something called SAP NetWeaver. This is SAP's newest platform. And this is that monsterly large ERP products. When you're talking about SAP, when you say this company use SAP, you're talking about this product which is called SAP ERP. And then we have SAP NetWeaver, of course, which is the platform. And this monster sits on this platform called NetWeaver. And then now we have some other important product. We have CRM, Customer Relationship Management, SRM, Supplier Relationship Management, Supply Chain Management, Product Lifecycle Management, Human Capital Management. These are the separate product of SAP now. They are called Business Suite Solutions. These are the product division of SAP. And they are not all. But this is how 40-year product evolution journey is. Characteristic of SAP. First and foremost, SAP must integrate. It must be flexible. That basically means you can tweak to various enterprises. All these companies' name I mentioned in the morning, they're very different companies with each other. Worldwide uses. I was talking to you like a Johnson & Johnson example where I'm involved myself. They use SAP in more than 130 countries. That basically means that many currencies, that many languages. Another is open architecture. SAP can be used in any operating system. SAP can be used. Do you guys know any name of operating systems? Some of them commonly used operating systems. Windows,
Mac,
Linux, IUP. SAP can be used in any of those operating systems. So Windows, Unix, Linux, Mac, Android, any of those. But in enterprises, though, of course, most people use Windows. On the server side, most people use Unix. Mac, you can use SAP Mac. Enterprise-wide, that basically means SAP product has application for all business processes in an enterprise. So any enterprise you go, you have a finance, sales, service, marketing, production, quality, inventory, warehousing, all those processes you will find, and many more. You cannot think that how big this monster is. It's a huge, huge software. Gazillions of lines. Over 30,000 programmers works 40 years. You can't, a lot of people say, even Microsoft couldn't produce SAP. One of the largest companies of the world, because it's not just the software, it's a lot of business. Leading practices, this is a highly contested and very interesting concept when you say leading practices. What do we understand by leading practices? Best practice, yes.
Benchmark.
Huh?
The benchmark.
Benchmark, okay. Do you guys heard about the terms like best practices? What are the best practices? In plain English, what is the better way or best way of doing business? I do business this way, I do business that way, this way, that way. But what is the right way? One of the highly contested and argued concept of when you buy SAP, you're not just buying a software. You're also buying how your business will be conducted. Not that business people like that. I always have this issue. Implement SAP, talking to a business person who is doing their business in same way 30 years, and one fine morning somebody goes into the door and says, well, 30 years what you've been doing was wrong. You have to handle that question very carefully. You can't say that what business, the way you have been doing it last 30 years was not optimum. Because people don't like to see that what I've been doing 30 years, 40 years of my life, 25 years of my life was not really the right way of doing what I've been doing. But in many cases that is true. So one of the reasons of putting this SAP is to tell how your business should be done. This is SAP Diamond. This slide is as old as my exposure to SAP. So my exposure to SAP is almost 150 years. So this slide is almost 150 years old. This is how SAP ERP is constructed. Now, you see these colors? These colors have some meaning to it. There is a purpose behind coloring the scheme. This green color is supply chain areas. Remember I was giving that box there? So all these green color are supply chain modules. Or red color are the finance modules. Yellow, HR. So I told you three main functions. Supply chain. In the supply chain you have customer service, sales and distribution, materials mismanagement, production planning, quality management, plant maintenance. Why you smile, madam?
Because you smiled.
I said material mismanagement. You heard that?
Yes.
Okay. I want to make sure that you guys are at least partially not sleepy. So at least you catch up. That's good. But then on the right is the finances. Financial accounting, controlling, asset management, project system. These are all various finance areas. Of course, HR. I was mentioning to you that 24 industry solutions. There is a very extensive functionality of workflow. Now, what is workflow? I create purchase order. I want my manager to approve it. His manager has to approve it. His manager has to approve it. Workflow. Now, this is a version 6.0. This is the latest version in SAP. The latest version of SAP is called ECC 6.0. Make a note of that. That is the latest version of SAP ERP called ECC 6.0. ECC stands for Enterprise Central Component. This is the latest version. Now all these gazillions of line of code, all this application has been developed in what language? Do you guys know in what language SAP ERP is written? Sorry? Sorry, what's that? What is the name of language? Like the language like Java or HTML, .NET, C++, Visual Basic. Do you know the name in which SAP is written? My name is? How many fingers are these? Good. Okay. So SAP is written in a language called ABAP. Make a note. ABAP is SAP's own proprietary language. ABAP, and actually it's called ABAP/4. 4 basically means the /4. 4 means is 4th generation programming language. Its own language. ABAP stands for Advanced Business Application Programming. Make a note. Advanced Business Application Programming. It's a 4th generation language. It's kind of a mix of C++ and Visual Basic. Its own language. You guys see those open boxes here? Why do we have these open boxes?
So you can make more personalizability. Right?
Absolutely. That's very true. So any of those modules, open box basically means you can further customize, you can further personalize to that company, to that business enterprise. Because same SAP constant, I mentioned to you, Johnson & Johnson is different than ExxonMobil, you can personalize, you can configure. That's why we have these open boxes. SAP is modular in the nature. So what SAP has done, so these are some of the modules. Let me go back to the last slide and we're going to talk about these slides a little bit more. I have a good news for you guys. Very soon we're going to have a break. The best time. See, that is the only thing they pay attention to. No problem. Okay. So SAP is modular in the nature. You see the customer service, sales and distribution, materials management, production planning, quality management, plant maintenance. Right? These are the various modules of SAP. So what SAP has done, all the gazillions amount of the programming code which we have, they put by module. Module 1, module 2, module 3, module 4, module 5. So they created various modules. Now what is a module? Module represents a logical grouping of business process and function. Bullet point number 2. Make a note of that. So they put a logical grouping of the business processes. At that logical group of the process, they call it a module. So like a sales processes in SD module, in FI module, finance process, HR module, HR process, production planning module, production process, and so on and so forth. Now, I want to talk to you guys about some of these core modules in more detail. Next week, when I'm there online, I will also be giving you some system demo. I will log into SAP. I will carry out some basic transactions in SAP. So at least you can see how some of the SAP transactions, how the SAP software look like. So it means at least have some idea about some screen color touch. So first and foremost, we have finance. That is the first module. Now, what is the finance? Now, any company is there. In any company, there is always a finance department. What does the finance department do? They take care of various revenue components. If you see a general ledger accounting, the account payable. Account payable basically means I have to pay to the vendors. I have to pay to employees. Account receivable means you have to receive the money from your customers, collections. Asset accounting means you have a various assets in your company. You have a plant, machinery, equipment, assets. How do you care about your assets? Various illegal consolidation, special liabilities. Controlling is very important. So finance manages your revenue. Controlling manages your cost. You would like to know that in my company what is my cost, because you care one hand increasing your revenue, another hand you care about decreasing your cost. So finance manage your revenue and controlling manage your cost. Now what is the manage cost means? How much I spent last year on the sales and marketing? How much last year we spent on travel of my employees? And so many other different costs that come from this controlling. And then we have a human resources, HR. HR talk about various, you have a people. Every company consists of people, at least so far. So very soon, a lot of your work might be done by robots, right? They're already doing it. A lot of manufacturing processes. I've been to many manufacturing plants. A lot of product is done by robots. Earlier it was done by people. But we still need people. We still need you. So we have a personal management, time management, payroll, training, event. Therefore, the HR. Because every company, irrespective of what they do, you always need people. Therefore, you always need HR. So third module. Another module is a sales and distribution. Another core module, because irrespective of what you do, you make shoes or you make medicines or you make aeroplanes, you always have to sell. Therefore, in a SD module or sales and distribution module, you have a sales function, shipping the product to the customer, transporting product to the customer, billing product to the customer, and being able to connect with your customer electronically. Like you're buying you go to apple.com, right? You're buying an iPhone. When you hit that save button on their website, information goes back to SAP. When you go to HP.com, when you go to Amazon.com, when you buy a book on Amazon, when you buy an electronic item on Amazon, when you hit save, order goes back to SAP. But SAP is behind the scene. That is the electronic data interchange. So you can take the data from various sites and portals. Production planning. If your company is a manufacturing enterprise, you need production planning. But production planning you only need if you are a manufacturing entity. If you are not a manufacturing entity, you don't take care of it. Then you have a material mismanagement, which has primarily procurement processes, inventory processes, logistic invoice verification is verifying vendors' invoices, planning how much material you need when, another very core module of SAP, materials mismanagement. Customer service. You sold the product, now customer has an issue, they want repair, they want return, they don't like the color, you take care of the warranties, customer service. project system, you are in the business of installing projects at the customer location. You have a project system. Then you have a warehouse management, another very widely used because you have a big distribution center. You have thousands and thousands and thousands of products in that. You take care of them by warehouse management. Quality management. You're buying product, you're selling products, you're producing products. How will you make sure whatever you're buying, selling, producing is of right quality? How do you do quality planning, quality inspection, quality control? Obviously, you cannot sell a product which is of not right quality. That comes from a module called quality management.
Is it based on any particular force?
Support all of them. JIT. You can do JIT analysis. You guys heard, you know JIT? Just in time. So all those lean manufacturing guys, you can do in SAP, like JIT for example. You can do. Entire lean manufacturing, you can do. You heard about Kanban? You know Kanban? You can do Kanban in SAP. I implemented Kanban myself. Very, very, very highly automated process. Just directly put your, and it works perfectly. So all these, and using like a Six Sigma. You can also do like TQM. You can do TPM, which is total preventive maintenance. TQM, total quality management. That's what we talk about the plant maintenance, in which you have plant machinery equipment. How do you make sure they are not up and running? How they are not under breakdown? So these are some of the core modules of SAP. Let me quickly repeat: finance, managing revenue; controlling, managing cost; HR, managing people; sales and distribution, managing customer; production planning, managing manufacturing of your company; materials management, managing vendors; customer service, any issue after you sold the product; project system, if you have any problem with your project; warehouse management, making you have a big warehouse distribution center, you're taking care of the warehouse management; quality management, you have buying, selling products, you have to make sure that quality is proper, you're doing proper quality planning, quality inspection, and then we have a plant maintenance. They are not all. I'm only talking about various modules of SAP ERP. And they are not all. So this is 10:51, and we take a 10-minute break, and we will start after 10 minutes. I'm sorry? And then we start after 10 minutes. Thank you guys. Only thing we have to do while driving from here to New Jersey, I have to memorize all these names. Nick, you are easy. Jenny, do I got? Rest I will. Let's begin, guys. So, any one of you has any questions, whatever we have done so far and all that, any questions at all? Any concerns, issues? Yes, sir.
So what makes it better than Oracle? Because I mean, Oracle is a bigger company. I mean, that's what I've heard. So how is it better? I mean, why do most companies use it?
Why do people use SAP? What's your name?
Kevin.
Huh?
Kevin.
Kevin. Okay. Third name, Kevin. I got it. So the question is, and I think it's a good question, and I think almost in every class this question is being asked, and it's very obvious. And that is also true if we talk about the total size of the company between SAP and Oracle. Oracle is a much larger company than SAP. Oracle is a much larger company from the perspective of the database. So their primary bread and butter and primarily their business come from database. That is their significant amount of business. Now when it comes to business applications, that is where SAP has an issue. So because Oracle has a database and all those different technologies, SAP doesn't do that. So in comparison to companies, they are larger because of their additional product like database, which is their main business. Now, how SAP is better than Oracle? And that's actually used to baffles me also, because I'm such a SAP-centric person. I had a limited or no exposure to Oracle, to be very frank. I have no idea how Oracle look like and what is good and bad. In 2010 or 9, something around that time, I did one few-month project in Ohio, where client asked us, I was part of Accenture, and they asked us to suggest them whether they should use SAP or whether they should use Oracle. And then do a recommendation from Accenture that tell me, Mr. Accenture, that what should I use? That time I had a few months of direct exposure with Oracle and also comparison, because that's what we were doing. And in fact, Oracle is a very good product. And we did a lot of comparative study, like by various parameters and various parameters. Where we found SAP is ahead of Oracle, the one feature was, Kevin, SAP's robustness in terms of business processes. So what we did was, like from that company, it was a great, Anderson is the name of company, and we give their scenarios. And I asked SAP, we asked Oracle and said, demonstrate us with this scenario your product. So we found out very explicitly that SAP has much more robust functionality. That was one. The second thing which we find out, SAP's platform is very stable as a technology platform itself. The third thing which we find out in SAP's advantage is SAP overall technology, a lot of technology components in enterprise application was far exceeding than Oracle. But Oracle has a one very distinct advantage on SAP also, which we observed, which I observed. We gave a recommendation also for that. Oracle has very good user interface. SAP's interface, when I will show you some SAP actually next week when we're doing classes, SAP's interface, user interface, is still very those blue engineering screens. We find out Oracle user interface was fairly good. But overall, of course, we suggested SAP to them. And it was not like that because I'm SAP, we had Oracle from Accenture also, and SAP Accenture also. We did very objective assessment. It was not because Accenture do Oracle practice also, they have SAP practice also. So for us, it wasn't suggesting one versus the other. So we did a very objective study. 3-4 months we spent on it, and we tell them no, you should use SAP because the primary driver was that SAP could do more business processes much more easily than Oracle could do. But they were very close as well.
Did they agree with your suggestion?
Yes, they implemented it. They accepted our assessment. Because we did very objectively. In fact, what we did was, we give the scenarios to those both companies. We gave around 3 to 4 days, I think 4 days demos. And we were there. We invited those people also. I said, you see yourself too. And we give we call it a marking seat. So we give a certain parameter at the end of, let's say, a 2-hour session. We ask them, okay, you did this process, give your ratings. So it was not the rating by Accenture, we give those people, invitees also, to give the rating as well. So it was a cumulative rating of us and them, and then we give it. That was one of the big challenge actually we had, because a lot of people think, oh, we probably end up getting SAP because I was SAP, being a project manager, but we have an Oracle project manager and others. This is the slide where we left. Any other question? That was a good question. Yes, sir.
Sir, you said that SAP is written in ABA.
ABAP. Yeah.
And similarly, what was the language that Oracle was written?
Oracle has their own Oracle language. They use their own Visual Basic and things like that. Any other? What's your name?
Satish.
Satish. 4th. Any? Yes?
Actually, I have a question.
Yeah.
Which came first, Oracle or SAP?
See, if we talk about SAP is older company than Oracle in enterprise applications. Oracle is a master in database. SAP is master in enterprise applications.
Okay.
They both have their niche. In fact, Oracle person, he come from IBM. SAP person also come from IBM. I come from IBM. So both are my brothers. Both are my colleagues. That's a very interesting thing too. Larry Ellison, the CEO of Oracle, he come up with this whole database, RDBMS design, presented to IBM. IBM didn't took it. And he said, what's wrong with you, Mr. IBM? They didn't like it. He started his own company. Today, Oracle is a larger company than IBM itself. Same thing with Oracle, SAP 5 people, Professor Larry, and then they give this enterprise application to IBM. IBM didn't took it. They started their own company. This is SAP. And but all these people are very visionary. I had a chance, listening to Larry Ellison and a couple of them. Highly visionary person, very aggressive person. And same SAP's co-chairman, Professor Hasso Plattner. He is still, in fact, given in Florida in May. They're still very involved, still professors, they're still involved into the product, visionaries. So that's very good. That's why these companies are what they are. They started by visionary. So coming back to when we have been talking about SAP, and we also mentioned that all these ERP products, central argument is they integrate all those business processes. This picture at a high level but demonstrate that degree of integration. So customer comes to us and if customer coming to us, he's placing an order. Good news, customer coming to us, right? But see that error coming, credit limit. Customer placing an order, especially in the corporation world, is a good idea, customer coming, but it's a bad idea that you're getting an order from a customer who is not credit worthy, who is in chapter 11, who you sell him and he's not going to pay you back. So how do you know? So system instantaneously goes to credit and verify that, should I do a business? It will stop you immediately. So now, sorry, with this customer you can't do it, or you can do it. And then, see another arrow, account receivable, account cash receipt. This customer is fine, but this customer has not paid us in last 6 months. He is not paid, his overstanding is more than 2 million. He is not paying. His overstanding is last 10 months, he has not given a single check. How do you know that you will not end up getting another order to a customer who has not paid you last 10 months? System automatically goes to financial controlling, look into the cash receipt, look into the account and say, don't go it. This customer is not good. You can verify. Another hand, there is availability check. Customer placing order, I'm manufacturing televisions, I'm manufacturing laptops or desktop or pen and pencil. Do I even have those products? How do I know my capacity in production? How do I know my capacity of my warehouse? So system instantaneously from sales and distribution go to materials management and perform availability check. It tells you, Mr. Customer, you need 100 pieces of this product on November 15th. Sorry, I can't give you 15. I can give you today. Because you will not like to promise to a customer which you cannot keep.
Yes, sir. If you don't have enough in inventory, would you be able to also work with your plan to figure out how long it would take you to
Yes.
produce it so you can get that information?
Yes.
And then also check with the vendors to make sure that you get the materials in time?
Yes, that's a good question. So, it will tell you that on November 15th, you're looking for 100 pieces, and that 100 pieces is not going to be available. If it is available, it's going to tell you that also. If it's not available, it's going to tell you, given a pop-up message, not confirmed. Then, you can also do that. Okay, if I don't have in this plant, can I go to the next plant? Can I go to my different distribution center? What happens if I don't have in New Jersey? Can I go to Pennsylvania? Can I go back to Boston? And so on and so forth. You can do that also. And then, even more important, sorry, I don't have anywhere. I checked all my distribution center and plants. What is my replacement lead time? So I can tell my customer, sorry, on 15th I don't have it. I can make it available on 20th. So it will let you know that as well. So that way it is very important to have a correct promise to the customer. So this is just an example that how can a customer, one hand be integrated to sales, to finance, to inventory, production, everything. That is just an example of integration. Now, I want to switch gears. So far, since morning, I have spoke to you about evolution of the product, and I talked to you about SAP ERP, I talked to you about various modules of SAP ERP. Now, I want to go to complete different paradigm. Now I want to go to business suite solutions. There are different solutions. Remember, new dimensional product I talked with this, and what was the first product which I told you in the product evolution? CRP. So about a decade back, the first product which came into the V was SAP CRM, and SAP CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management. In SAP CRM, we have 3 functions. SAP CRM or any CRM has only 3 functions. And those 3 functions are marketing, sales, and service. CRM does not have anything else but these three. No finance, no HR, nothing. And that is not SAP CRM, but any CRM product anywhere in the world. Do you know the name of any other CRM product apart from SAP CRM? There are some of them are very, very popular in the market. One of the product which I would like you to get familiar in CRM space is called Salesforce.com. If you get a chance, look at it. Salesforce.com. And there's another CRM product that is called SIPO. They are two separate companies. Siebel now is part of Oracle purchase. It's no more a separate company. Salesforce.com is still a separate company. So SAP CRM or any CRM, we're going to talk about CRM in more detail. We have a whole chapter on it. We talked about integrating to the customer. So this is me, this is us, this is customer. So when you talk about CRM, customer relationship management, this is end loop process, marketing, finding prospect, sales, converting those prospects into customer, and service, to keep those customers with us, possibly forever. That is what CRM is about. Finding customer, finding prospect, converting to customer, and keeping the customer. And ability to reach customer, and see there are 4 bridges here. E-commerce, interaction center, field service, channel partners. If I wanted to buy a product, how can I buy? Let us take an example. You want to buy Apple iPhone. How do you buy it? Option number 1, you go to store, Apple store. Second, you go to apple.com. Right? Third, you can go to Best Buy, Amazon, any third-party retailer. So e-commerce, see that's here. This is apple.com. You go to apple.com, amazon.com. You're reaching to the customer, selling your product through e-commerce. Second is channel partner. That is very common nowadays. If I'm buying an Apple computer, I go to Best Buy. Channel partner. Interaction center, that basically means you make a phone call. And field service, many products. And after the product has been sold, you need to be repaired. Because not the selling. A lot of activities start when selling finishes. You need somebody to come and fix, repair, return, install, commission. Depending upon what kind of course, you don't install iPhone, you just buy it, plug and play. But many products which you buy, you need a person. If you got problem, you need a repair center. That's where you have a field service. In SAP CRM or any CRM for that matter in the world, you have only these things. We're going to talk about this in more detail. Now this is APO. APO stands for Advanced Planner and Optimizer. APO stands for Advanced Planner and Optimizer. This is APO. This is another new dimensional product of SAP. Now what does APO do? You will see here something called DP, demand planning, supply network planning, production planning and detailed scheduling, transportation planning and vehicle scheduling. So APO is primarily the product to manage various manufacturing, planning, forecasting processes of an enterprise. Now, if we see here, this side, we have years, months, days, minutes. That basically means you're planning horizon, you're planning activities. You want to plan, let us say you're manufacturing for next 2 years or next 1 year. You can use demand plan. If you want to plan for next 3 months, you can use something called supply network plan. How much should be my production schedule for next 3 months? You're going to use supply network plan. You want to plan what is going to be my plan for next 3 days. You can use PPDS, production planning and detailed schedule. You want to find out what you're going to load in next 60 minutes onto the truck which is there on the queue in front of your warehouse. You're going to use transportation planning and vehicle schedule. So various components of planning. We're going to talk about these in more detail as well. The next product of is supply relationship management or SRM. Now in SRM, what do we have? Primarily 4 things: strategic sourcing, operational procurement, supplier enablement, and then content management. 4 distinct functions are there in SRM. Now what is strategic sourcing? Strategic sourcing basically means we want to buy, let us say, some strategic item which is very important. Are you aware of that ABC classification of inventory? ABC? How many people know ABC classification of inventory? Who can describe? Class A, Class B, Class C. You heard about them? Class A, Class B. It's very common, right? The supply chain people. Class A, Class B, Class C. Somebody say yes, right? You said yes? Okay, nobody heard about Class A, Class B, Class C? Or you're shy? ABC classification is a very commonly used method of classifying your inventory on the basis of cost. So Class A items are considered to be costliest item, and Class C items are considered to be cheaper. You know it. You can just explain. Why you're shy? Explain.
A are most essential parts which are required in inventory and it's very costly. And B are, it might be required in inventory or not, and C is not so essential. That's what I think.
Essential or and also costly. The cost, the value. So normally people say this is consists of 70% of the cost. Roughly, I'm telling you. This consists of 20% of the cost. This consists of 10% of the cost. And people also say 10% of cost has a 70% of items, 20%, 70% of cost has a 10% of items. So this is the cost, this is the number of items. Make a note there. So when we're talking about strategic sourcing, that basically means we are talking about buying Class A items. When you talk about operational procurement, we are talking about Class C items. Supplier enablement is very important these days because we need the way to connect to our suppliers electronically. We are I will give an example of J&J. Now they have vendors is spread across almost any country you can think in, 130, 140 countries. They send invoices. And they have if you have my vendor, you go to portal, you put your information in the portal, it automatically comes to us. That's how they do it. They don't send invoice. You can't fax, you cannot email. You don't need to email. And you can have a content means catalog, which you can assign the catalog of the sites. That is SRM. I spoke to you briefly about NetWeaver in the beginning. I'm going to talk to you further. I mentioned that NetWeaver is SAP's newest platform. So this is the platform. This is the platform. Web application server. That basically means entire SAP reside in this server. Now on the top there is something called XI. Now what is XI? I spoke to you ERP, ECC, I talked to you CRM, I talked to you SRM, I talked to you APO, and all these four are four separate products. In the real world, a lot of people use many other non-SAP applications as well. How do you connect these applications? How will you connect these islands? How will you build the bridge? XI allow you to integrate various SAP and non-SAP applications. It's also called SAP's middleware. Let's say you have a SAP and you have a CRM. How will you connect them together? You have SAP, ECC, and you have an APO. How do you connect them together? You have SAP and you are having a portal website, yeah? Like I mentioned to you, you go to apple.com and the website, you put in an order and apple.com go to SAP. Now how that apple.com is connected to SAP? How the data is flowing between them? Use XI. Got point? Then we have MDM. MDM is master data management, you have customer, vendor, material. How can you manage the master data? This BIBW is probably the most important component of SAP NetWeaver suite. And most critically important, most widely used. So this BI, in their terms, I will be actually having few slides focused only on BI because it's important topic. Now, why is BI important? And let me tell you, for SAP, this is, or for enterprises, this is very important. You have all these CRM, SRM, and all that, all jungle of information. Now, how can you have a central reporting platform? So BI, now BI, BW are synonym. I mentioned here BI in the beginning. Now I'm saying BW, they are synonym. Sometimes we call BIW also. So they are synonym. They used to have something called SCM, it's called Strategic Enterprise Management. That has almost gone. But BIBW is there. And what does it do? It gives you a central reporting and analytic platform. If it's senior management, they care about reporting. And probably only thing they care about is reporting. And then we have BI. And then on the top we have EP, means enterprise O. enterprise portal allow you to do single sign-on. Now, on the top there is a mobile infrastructure. Remember, in the beginning I mentioned to you that SAP can be used on your iPhone. SAP can be used on your iPad, on your Android devices. Mobility is extremely important for enterprise applications. Pay attention what I'm saying. If we talk about the whole computing, if we talk about how the computing is going, if we talk about the whole flow of computing, we used to have a desktop, right? Now desktop has gone to laptops, and now we have a bunch of mobile devices. And this is the newest toy. You talk about your smartphones, you talk about your tablets. Can you believe this is the largest growing area in the computing? Therefore, your enterprise application should also support them. You can now, all these SAP applications and all that are supported on iPad and all those devices. This is where laptop will die soon. Desktop is almost gone. Almost all computing, whether it's personal computing or enterprise computing, will happen on here. Personal computing is already happening there. You're looking into your personal site, Twitter and Facebook, and where you go? You go to your iPhone. You go to your devices. But you will do the same thing for your enterprise applications also. So SAP recognize that this is one of the largest growth areas for SAP. I'm going to talk especially around that topic. That is going to be my last topic actually. Talking about more enterprise applications on mobile devices. And of course, you have a lot of, have you heard about RF technology or RFID? Who can describe what is RFID? Go ahead. Yes.
Radio frequency identification device.
Radio frequency identification devices, that's correct. What does they do? Yes, sir?
Basically, a chip that emits a particular radio frequency that contains all the information that is fed into it, and when it passes under a detector or a scanner, it picks up that frequency and knows what is there, how much is there, and all that.
That's very true. What's your name?
Ask me.
Huh?
Ask me.
Atmir. So that's very true. So a lot of these devices, when you're deploying, you can put a chip along with it. There is a tag associated to it, and then you can track the flow of the goods, and then you know where the flow of goods is. The problem with RFID has been, first of all, SAP support those technologies. Yeah? But the problem which we face though, in the implementation, it is really costly. So this is my pen. If I put a chip to it, and one chip we're doing this implementation in 2005 was like 62 cents. There's a lot of cost. So, but still, it's a very good technology. Now, when I was talking about this radio frequency here, I was not talking about RFID though. There is difference between RFID and RF. Do you know what is RF? What is written there is not RFID. That's good that we discussed that also. That also has to be support. But I was in fact talking about RF. But what is RF? Radio frequency. Where we use RF? Phones. It could be RF. Give me a very common example of you use this RF every day in your life or almost every day in life. Let me give you a clip hint. Huh? You go to Walmart. When you're checking out, they scan your product. Ting, ting. That is RF. Barcode. Barcode is read by whom? It's read by reading frequency. So all these products are barcoded. Almost anything is barcoded. You go to Walmart, you Kmart, all these stores, everything is scanned. You can do the scanner integration to SAP. So you can do RFID also, RFID, both you can do. Okay. I'm graduating, I'm learning. Power of collaboration. Understand, this is interesting. Integrated within the four walls of enterprise is immensely important, but it's not sufficient. Unless you can integrate to your business partners across the planet Earth. Because we live in flatter world. And it's becoming flatter every day. Boundaries, geographical dimensions losing meaning, specifically in business terms. I work in Johnson & Johnson doing some work. In a meeting itself, we have people working from 20 countries. And 5 people sitting on the phone, somebody attended from Singapore, I have from Brazil, and God knows from where not. Now, why I'm saying this is though, the lot of product of SAP which we talked about, APO, remember? CRM, SRM. They are not necessarily providing you capability to integrate within the four walls of enterprise, but they are providing you capability to collaborate across your supply chain. If in a flatter world, if you cannot communicate with your vendors in China, your manufacturers in Brazil, your logistic port partners in a port in Brazil and Frankfurt, your ability to do business is only so much. How will you collaborate with your business partners? So all those new dimensional products are moving towards that collaboration. In that perspective, your effectiveness of the supply chain is immensely important. That is why supply chain is ever important, ever before. I'm doing one SAP implementation. I will give another example. I need some cleaner. Let's go. Oh, okay. What's your name? Balaji. Now you have been reading all this supply chain and you are all supply chain people, experts. Why are you laughing as expert? That is your area of expertise, right?
Yes.
That is what has been taught to you. Whether you learn, that is a separate topic. Okay. SCM. There's a company in the US, one of the very good, you guys use the product of their life. And we're doing their SAP implementation, and then we start with certain KPIs. All these things which you learn in your books, behind the scene has a lot of actual real world meaning to it. KPI, what is KPI stand for? Key performance indicator. in KPI, we said our fill rate should be greater than 99%. I'm telling you, company, what the company want to desire. It's not any case study. Real company, 99% fill rate. They want their inventory turns. Do you guys heard about the word called inventory turns? What is inventory turns? Go ahead.
Number of how often does your inventory get over for the whole year? Basically, your sales by average.
Anybody else? What is inventory turns? Yes.
Number of times you refill your inventory in your warehouse per year.
What's your name again?
Varun.
Varun. You both of you are correct, though. Means not saying exactly, but yes, you're alluding to the right point. Inventory turn basically means how many times this inventory will rotate. If I oversimplify, this is my warehouse, and in this warehouse I'm keeping inventory of this pen. How many times this pen will be replenished? Once, twice, thrice, 4 times, 6 times, 10. That's it. They said we do it 4.7 and we wanted to make it 11. Our industry standard is 11 times. So almost every 1 month this inventory will be replenished. 11 times is almost every month. Now look at these two KPIs. One KPI is 99% fill rate. That basic, do you know what the fill rate means? Yes?
Less back orders basically. Whatever order is being given to them, they fill it up.
You're right. That basically means is if I oversimplify it, if customer comes to me and placing me order, I want the 99% of time I'm able to fill the order which he's asking for. If you look into these two, and this company doesn't do any manufacturing in US at all. They had one plant in North Carolina. Almost entire manufacturing is in South America or in Asia. They wanted to fill the inventory all the time. 99% is almost all the time customer comes, I should give an inventory to him. On the other hand, I don't want to keep it. That is the two very important pillars of supply chain. How can you have inventory available to the customer without have to overstock it? If you have to summarize your entire supply chain tenet, which you have been reading all along, this whole concept to the supply chain, but your entire supply chain is about these two elements: making inventory and product available to the customer without having to. Otherwise, you can fill your warehouses to the bottom, to the top, and then you can make it available all the time. But that's not supply chain. Now, what I'm talking about is, for SAP also, supply chain is immensely important. For SAP also, they wanted to make sure that not only I manage my company, how I can manage my interaction with all my business partners, and how those interactions could be effective, efficient, with high velocity and high transparency. Supply chain should also have high velocity and high visibility. And all that is where SAP is evolving its product. We talk about product like APO, SNC, CRM, SRM. The basic tenet is to make your supply chain effective, efficient, transparent, working with a high velocity. Supporting your entire supply chain, specifically in the flatter world where I brought it. Talking about how quickly SAP works, 12 o'clock. Good news, we are very close to taking a break. I keep hearing some good news is in between. First and foremost, organization data. Organization data in SAP, you maintain with different kind of data to represent your organization. Your plants, warehouses, stores, they are called organization. Your configuration data. SAP is configurable. Remember, we talking those empty boxes, and I asked, what is those empty boxes? And say we can personalize, we can tweak it. What is that personalization tweaking is called configuration. So that basically means you can take application, you can tweak it, and that is called in the process you produce configuration. Then you have a lot of master data in SAP. A lot of customers, a lot of material, a lot of products, a lot of different kind of a master data for every module. And then next is transactional data. You're creating if you are in manufacturing, you're creating production order. If you are in a procurement, you're creating purchase order. If you are in sales, you're creating sales orders. If you are in finance, you're creating financial postings. If you are in controlling, you are doing various cost center and other planning. What do the business users do when they are working in office? Of course, talking, taking tea, coffee, gossip, football game, baseball game, talking about movies. But whatever time left in between, they carry out transactions. This is how SAP works, or any business application for that matter works. There is input and there is output. There is input of the various type of organized data, master data, and there is output of various type of transactions. So input and this is report. That is why I mentioned to you that in SAP, reporting, your ability to analyze information is immensely important. That information, if of zero value, if you cannot make sense out of it, if you cannot analyze it. So in SAP, there are multiple ways to perform reporting. Search help, transaction, report painter. There are various tools, different kind of methods which is available to perform reporting and analysis. But the most important reporting tool is called SAP BW. BW is Business Warehouse. It's also called BIW, which is Business Information Warehouse. It's also called BI, which basically means Business Intelligence. They are all synonyms. SAP has a habit of keeping floating new names and driving people crazy. But they are all synonymous. The idea is, I'm going to talk about BIBW in more detail, guys, because this is important product. But this is the most important. There are various reporting and analysis tools which are available in SAP. This was more of a introduction of SAP I was giving you. I've been talking to you last hour and a half, SAP this, SAP that, blah blah blah, this and that. Let me tell you, SAP is not any magical software. It's not that you buy an SAP software CD from a Best Buy and put into every computer of your company and some magic will happen, some symphonies will come out of every computer. Nothing will happen. Although SAP is a powerful software, but it must be, see the word here, it must be implemented correctly, and after implemented is supported correctly. If you implement right, you get business value. If you do not implement right, you get no business value at all. There are also not so successful implementation of SAP also. And if they were successful or failure, not because of the software, the way the software was implemented. Therefore, the process of implementation is immensely, immensely important. This gentleman is sleeping on the wheel, is snoring, like many of us. Right? See how many smiles are there on the faces, including mine. SAP comes in, so the point is, or the message which I want to give is that it's not just the software alone. It is the right usage of software which is immensely important. If you don't use correctly, you get zero value. You get negative value. It can stop a product. There are a lot of failed implementation of it. Not now, but it used to, because they didn't implement correctly. So the implementation is immensely important. Aha! Part 1 is completed. Good news! One part of the project, this presentation is done. That's a good news. Not so good news is we have another one to come. Right? Continuous torture. Even on such a day. Okay, before I go, do you guys have any questions? Anything bothering you? Except that you say that you are hungry. Yes.
How does SAP deal with the modules other than its own? Like if a company is using Dynamics for one module, or if it is Sage for one module, how does SAP play along with other modules?
Sure. Okay, that's a good question though. Can we start class if you are done talking? So the question is, and it is a very common occurrence by the way. Although I mentioned to you that 90% of SAP, Fortune 10 companies use SAP, does not mean that they don't use 10 more other things. So all these companies, along with using SAP, they also use many more other non-SAP applications for various reasons. Some right, some not so right reasons. But they, in fact, this happens. So your question is a very practical significance. It happens. So then, these two applications has to be connected. And how do you connect? Remember we talked about XI? That XI is SAP's middleware to take the data from one application and give it to another one, or take it from another one. So the to and fro flow of the information and the data happens using XI. Apart from XI though, there are also various non-SAP middleware as well. SAP doesn't tell you that you use XI only middleware. There are other non-SAP middleware also, like graph methods, like VisTalk. So I can write down some names. So there is a product called web methods. That's what we are using right now in Johnson Johnson. There is a product called VisTalk. There is one more called Gentron. There are various other non-SAP products also which can be used to integrate, because this integration is immensely important. Because even company use SAP does not mean that everything is done in SAP. There is still a lot of non-SAP application which is used in various things. Good question. Any other question anybody has? You can ask me anything. Yes, Kevin.
Should we know ABE, AP software to know SAP? I mean, if you're taking any module.
See, ABAP is a separate skill, but it's not necessary that people should know it. Means I do SAP 15 years myself. I knew ABAP. I learned ABAP. But I never wrote any line of code ever in my life. Because in my role as SAP consultant, I was not required to write code. If some people choose to become ABAP programmers, then of course writing code is their primary responsibility. So in the SAP world, from the consultant perspective, there are functional consultant, which I am one of them, and then there are technical consultants. If you're a technical consultant, then you do programming, write code, and all that system administration. If you don't do it, if you're a functional consultant, whether any module, then you don't do programming. You work with the programming team to help them, work with them, but you do not write yourself. I never wrote programming code myself. But I do understand programming. Because I learned. Anything else bothering you? Any questions? Okay, let's continue with our next topic. And 12:30, we will stop for 1 hour. I'm starting with the good news. For 1 hour, we will stop for our lunch break. Is 1 hour okay, or you want to shorten or less?
No.
Who said no? They were very emphatic. No. Okay, so we'll keep it for 1 hour. Enjoy your lunch. So SAP CRM. Let's begin, guys. So in SAP, outside of SAP ECC, CRM was the first and probably the most important product SAP came up with, and that is why I want to talk to you about what is SAP CRM. And then I want to talk about APO because that was the second product. Then I will be talking to you about business intelligence. That is the third and the most important. And then I will talk to you about like mobility and few other things. That is why I will be having my discussion today in next few classes. When I'm there home on November 6th, I will be. Now, one question I have is because I need to send you invite or attending the web conference, because that is going to web conference. And because I don't have your guys' email addresses, so what is the best way to send it to all of you? Send it to Professor Prashant? Okay. All of you are in Professor Prashant class?
Yes.
Okay, so then I will make sure that I send it to Professor Prashant, and then he can forecast. Because that class is only online for like 2-3 hours or whatever. How will you connect? Make sure whatever the class you connecting 10-15 minutes before it, because sometimes connection, depending on the speed and all that, can take time, and you download software and all that. You need internet connection. If you have a phone, then of course you can join on the phone also. You can do your GoToMeeting on any of these, which I'm sending to you on your Android devices, iPhone and all that also. But if you use a proper phone with internet connection, that is the best sound and all that. You don't need to come in the class for that matter. You can be in at home or wherever your location is, and then you can attend. But make sure that you have internet connection. Okay. CRM. I mentioned to you the CRM has 3 functions: marketing, sales, service. Now, what is the difference between marketing and sales? What is the difference between marketing and sales? I need some volunteers. I need somebody who said no emphatically to answer. What is the difference between marketing and sales? Yes.
Marketing is something where you make people aware of the product, and sales is like basically, the customer is aware of the product and you're going to just do sales to them. You're going to sell the product to them.
Anybody else? You're close. Anybody else? What is the difference between marketing? Yes, Kevin.
Marketing is outbound effort. The company tries to get in touch with the customer, and sales is inbound. The customer will have some requirements, and trying to fill it up.
You're close. What is it? I'm not going to give you a chance. Anybody else? What is the difference between marketing and sales? You guys were very close, both of you. Marketing. If we talk about, remember I mentioned to you, and I'm going with the customer life cycle perspective. So CRM is a product which manages entire life cycle of a customer. Okay. If I say what is the life cycle of the customer? What is the life cycle of the customer? So the first is you have to find the prospect. So as you guys were describing that, okay, I do marketing means you're doing your various campaigns and making calls and branding and all those different things. But ultimately, finding prospect. You have a Samsung ad going on TV. What they're doing? They're doing promotion. They're doing marketing. They put an ad in newspaper on internet, and what they're doing? They're doing marketing. What is the objective? To create a brand, create a market, finding a prospect. And then the second aspect is converting those prospects into customer. That is the sales. And the third part is keep that customer with us. And fourth aspect is then that customer died. There's no more relationship. No customer will remain with whatever, for example. Some point of time the relationship breaks. But you would like to continue that as long as possible. That is the customer life cycle. That is why you have 3 boxes. Marketing, sales, and service. That is what SAP CRM or any CRM for that matter in the world does. And I also mentioned to you before, I'm going to repeat, e-commerce, how customer reaches to me? You go to apple.com, amazon.com, e-commerce. So SAP CRM support you. Interaction center, many times you have a problem, you make that 800 call. You're talking to Bank of America, that 800 call. You're talking to some company, 800 number, 188-186. All those numbers are going to a interaction center, or in our day-to-day life, we call it call centers. Now, what is the purpose of those call centers? Those call centers are using some kind of CRM. All those call centers use some kind of CRM. Then you have field service, you have internet in your house. Something goes wrong with it. You make a phone call to your internet company and say, it's not working. Then an engineer they say, hey, somebody will come on Wednesday between 2 to 4. What are you doing? Field service. It's a very common example of field service in our life. You can do it. And they will ask you, sir, what is your name? What is your account? Tuesday, no sir, we don't have any appointment. Somebody will come on Wednesday. You're doing field service. And then you have a channel partners. You sell through your channel partners. Now, what is a channel partners? Basically means like you're selling to Best Buy, so to speak, to the channel partners. Ultimately, you're reaching to your customer. I'm going to talk to you about these 3 processes. Very simple. This is the whole CRM. I'm going to talk to you about 3 things: sales, service, marketing. Let's talk about sales. In the sales, pay attention, this is important. You see this box in between? Planning, action, and control. Any process, whether it's a sales, a service, a marketing, production, quality, whatever that process it is, all these processes has only 3 components to it. You plan it, you execute it, and you control it. Every process has 3 components. 3 pillars of any kind of process in the world. You plan that, you execute, you control. In sales, using SAP CRM, you can do planning. For example, here you have a strategic planning and operational planning. Now, what is the strategic planning? Strategic planning basically means various objective you can define. Which product you want to sell, which geography you want to sell, which customer you want to sell. We are targeting these products to be launched in South America. We are launching this product in Europe. We want this product to be launched in Asia. We are doing very well in North America, but our presence is very poor in Australia. Goals: market share, profit, revenue. Our market share is only 30%. We want it to be 60%. Our profit is only 5 million. We want it to be 10 million. Our revenue for this product is only last year 100 million. We want to go to revenue 200 million. You can plan. You can do a strategic. We are number 3, we want to number 2. Our market penetration, we don't have any market in Africa countries. Let's open an office in Kenya, in South America, South Africa. And you can do operational planning also. If I wanted to have a presence in South Africa, I need an office. I need resources. I need sales people who are going to sell. The entire sales planning you can do in SAP. Now also, there is a meaning to this color. Planning, yellow color. Then we have gray color. Then we have this bluish color. So this, if you look into this planning aspects, so we have a strategic planning and we have operational planning. And for various activities, you have all those different activities you can do in SAP CRM. We're going to talk about them. So in activities, we can do account management, territory management, workforce management, leads, activity, opportunity, all these different activities you can do. And then we have controls. Means you can do analytics. There is a reporting component. Closed loop process in SAP CRM. The next functionality which I would like to highlight is territory management. A lot of companies, this territory management is immensely important. Territory management is dividing your market, geography into various areas. Why will you like to do that? Because you can have a proximity to your customer. We were in IBM, I was in IBM. We divided IBM into 6 different segments within the US. North, West, South, Midwest, Southwest. I was connected to North. Means we do not care the whole North America, we care about Northern. I was part of New York office, we care about how the New York office. What is the performance, your bonus, your promotions, everything happens, performance in New York office. Doesn't make a difference how Chicago is. You're linked to all customer in North. You divide your market. And that is called territory. SAP CRM allows you to manage your territory, maintain your territory, and analyze your territories. You can do a question. So even within IBM we used to do, not this year, not that good. We are very good in Chicago, Midwest. We are very good in the West. We are excellent in California, and so on. Another thing which is immensely important in SAP, you can maintain both account management and contact. There are two words here, account and contact. Now, what is the difference between account and contact? I have an account, Best Buy, and in the account Best Buy, my contact is Michael. I have account Walmart. In account Walmart, my contact person is Thomas. So SAP CRM allow you to manage your accounts, allows you to manage your contacts, and allow you to use account and contact management in various sales processing. In your account planning, your account processing, your business activity processing, your opportunity processing, in all those different processes, at the end of the day, your entire sales activities are for a contact. And then for those contact account, we have a contact person who we are talking to. The next function which I want to talk is activity management. This is important. SAP CRM is not only transactional system. Pay attention. But it is a complete system. Now, what is the difference between the two? When I say not just a transaction system, but you are also a complete system. I mentioned, let us say you are a sales manager. You are a sales employee of a company. If you are a sales manager or sales employee or customer sales rep of a company, what do you do in the company? What do we do? What is the role as a sales manager? You make a phone call, you receive email, you respond to email, you send email, you visit customer visits you, you prepare for demo, you create a sales order. So SAP CRM is not only allowing you to maintain your sales orders and all that, but all activity which we do in our day-to-day life, even your personal activity you do, you can maintain in CRM. You have your staff meeting, you have a dentist appointment. So all those different activities you can maintain. You have a customer visit, you come back, prepare a quotation, you put a visit report, you have a follow-up activity, making a phone call, all those different things which we do. And you can also integrate with your calendar. Remember calendar? Microsoft Office. You can integrate your SAP CRM to Microsoft Office bidirectional. That's very important functionality. And all those different activities like calls to the customers, visits to the customer, customer visiting you, you visiting customer, meetings with the customer. Oops, 12:30. Okay, good news. This is the last slide. Let me complete the one. There's a flow of information. So various activities we can do, call, visits, letters, email, and you can integrate to your MS Office and also integrate with your Lotus Notes. all those different. So it's not only your activity, it's your transactions, but all activities. And you integrate with it. That's very important. Okay, so we take a break, guys. So then. Okay. So talking about activity management. And can you guys also whomsoever have been texting and all that stop texting? I don't like it. Don't use the phone. So talking about activity management, I mentioned before the break we had at 12:30 that SAP CRM is not just a transaction system. In fact, it is a complete system. What happened to the rest of the people? They are coming, they are left.
They are not coming.
I think they left.
One guy informed me.
I think they
What
left.
are the rest of the people? I just want to know whether they are coming or.
Have you started?
Yeah, that's okay.
Bunkers.
It's going to be a little bit chilly, right? A little bit cold. Weather also feeling. So, I was mentioning about activity management. Okay. One more announcement before I forget. So, talking to Professor Prasan during the break. So, in terms of his schedule, remember I announced to you guys that I will be having a class on 6th and 13th. Right? So slight change to it. So my class would be there on the. Throw it somewhere. So 6th November would be my class. And then on the 4th December would be my class. On 13th November, Professor Prashant will take it.
The one.
I would have told the break is for half an hour. We could have started in 1 hour. So it was my mistake telling 1 hour. People keep coming in installments. So those are the dates. 6th November and 4th December. And my class is going to be only online. Professor Prashant will do his class, whatever will be done. So those are the two new times. This would be only online. This would be only. And I will be sending you invite. Professor Prasad going to send it to me, all your email IDs, he said. So expect email from me with my email ID, Dilip. If you don't get it for whatever reason, sometimes mail problems and all that, please make sure that you email me. Let me write down my email address. So my email address is Dilip, D-I-L-I-P, Dilip at consulting.com. Make sure you don't get it, because sometimes email doesn't go and went to bulk mail or junk mail or something. So make sure you email me. So that way there is no communication gap. This is my email address. My number also 9738857. I'm also going to send you few assignments, so you can submit those. I'm gonna give you time and all that, so what will take time. Okay. Any questions? Anybody? Any comments? Assignments are really simple. Anybody has any questions, concerns? So let me repeat again. It's 6th and 4th. So 6th November and 4th December. Those are the two. Okay. And by Tuesday, so 6th is Wednesday. So by Tuesday, all of you will get an email from me or any of my associate. If you don't get an email, invite of the class for 6th, please make sure you let me know. I know that you have not gotten it, so I can send it. Because there's sometimes emails is all crazy and junk mail and all. Right? Fantastic. Activity management, that's where we left. That's where we were talking about. And I did mention to you that in SAP CRM, we have something called activity management. Activity management is not only maintaining the transactions in the system, but various activities we do in day-to-day life. Those also we can manage in SAP CRM. For example, we talked about making a phone call and receiving call and visiting and all those different type of business and private activities we can do in SAP CRM. Now, if you look at this graph, this side, in the beginning of our conversation today, I mentioned to you that SAP CRM has basically three functions. It has a marketing, it has a sales, and it has a service. In SAP CRM, you can do campaign, you can do lead management. They are part of marketing. After the lead, we generate an opportunity. We do an inquiry quotation with them. We sign a contract. They place an order with us. So this is marketing. This is sales. And then customer has any issues, then service. Marketing, sales, and service. These are campaign, lead, opportunity, inquiry, quotation, contract, etc. These are various transactions, business transactions, which are there in SAP. Another function which I want to talk to you guys is opportunity management. It's very interesting and very important transaction which we can do in SAP CRM. Now, what is opportunity management? I will give you an example, real world example, which happened with me. So I was mentioning to you that I went to that SAP convention in Florida and met a couple of several people, and one of the person, IT director of a company, he said, well, you know, I'm interested in this SAP CRM. He gave his visiting card to me. I give my card to him. This is discovery. You see the face? And activity, discovery. I came back in my office. And then we call them, we understand their requirements, we visit them, I visited them. Discover. After we discuss solution. Okay, this is what you want to do, this is what your requirement is, this is what you can do. Discuss solution. Prove capability, whether you can even do it. Prove capability, whether you are able to do it. I was a little bit concerned, two girls are not, there.
Alright, alright.
No, that's fine. Prove capability. They ask price. Tell us how much is going to cost. We make a demos presentation. After making all those things, this conviction somebody has to decide. Visit to the customer references. Visit to reference customer. That happens. When we are selling, they say, okay, you are telling that, okay, this is a wonderful solution, blah, 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 and all that good stories. Tell me where you have done it. Give me the name of the customer. And this customer I'm talking was in Brazilian here. And they said, we want to have a reference of a similar customer in America, in northeast of America. We don't want in California. Golf, well, I don't think I took anybody to golf. I don't know play golf myself. There was no golfing part, but that happened too. Taking a customer to golf. This opportunity which I'm talking to you guys about is with IBM. That was about 60 million opportunity for SAP. And we started that in May. And we closed it in October. 5 months. This is a unique selling process. See, you have to understand, this is important. How you sell is it depends a lot what are you selling. The way you're gonna sell your shoes, the way you're gonna sell your television, the way you're gonna sell a book is very different than the way you're gonna sell SAP CRM. Somebody sell SAP CRM too. The way you're gonna sell an aeroplane is very different. So, in SAP CRM or other CRM, there are various processes. A lot of people say, okay, 5 years using this opportunity management, what is the purpose of opportunity management? Opportunity management is a unique transaction which come into the picture when we have a situation where the sale is for many $1 million and sales cycle is pretty long. If somebody buying his shoes, you take a net, you like the color, you make a decision, yes or no, probably within a few minutes you decide either yes or no. You want to buy a shirt, you go to Best Buy, Macy's, and you buy a shirt there. You decide. But that's the way you don't buy SAP software. That's why you don't buy many other applications. That's where opportunity management comes into the picture. At the end, what happens? You lose or you win. Either way, you analyze. This is opportunity management lifecycle. There are many products which fall into this category. HP. I was talking to HP, Hewlett Packard. They said like large servers. And this server and they put in the cloud and all that is millions of dollars. They put the server farms. And one deal is like a $200 million, $300 million. Opportunity management. This is when I was making this presentation several years back, I kind of capped this presentation. In 8 out of 10 losses, real reason lied in the quality of. Now, I will give an example of this where I will give you an example where we're selling this SAP. We started in May and sold it in October. I was from IBM. We have Accenture, we have Capgemini, we have TCS and a couple of other companies. Everywhere you go, you have same competitors in the space. And out of those 7, 8, 10 players, one wins, other loses. This time we won it. Many times we have lost it. I have lost many times. And everybody selling same product. IBM selling SAP and Accenture selling SAP, same SAP CRM. It's not what you are selling. It is how you are selling. What is your process? How do you engage with your customer? What was your process of engagement? How do you present? Which team you presented? How was your communication? How was your overall? This is a whole drama. This whole selling process is a big episode by itself. And that episode decides whether you will succeed. There is no difference between IBM and Accenture. They are all big fish. Capability, all these companies. But one wins others. Because, and customer decides, that IBM consultant, he came and he told me this and that is something very interesting. Accenture guy, no, I don't think, we'll go with that. That's how they decide. What they like about you. What they like about how you said, not what you said. Because everybody's selling same product. Now, why we're talking in this class though? Because using SAP CRM, you can configure something called sales methodology. Bullet point number 1. So IBM has 500,000 people working in it. Accenture have 200 million people working in it. TCS, God knows how many people working with them. Many, many thousand. They're all huge large corporations. How do you make sure their selling team using same process? Consistent process. Person A doesn't go and complete their way, and person B goes and complete different way, and person C goes different way. Using SAP CRM, you can define a consistent selling approach. So your chances of success are higher. That you can configure in SAP CRM. So you can configure in SAP CRM. This is a quotation to order management. Now this cycle come into the picture when you're selling, let us say, television. Your company manufactures camera, your company manufactures telephone or phone or cell phone, tablet, shoes. You will use this process. Now we're done with opportunity process. We are completely different process. Now let us say your company is Samsung, Sony, Panasonic, LG, Sharp. They manufacture television. All of them used by SAP, by the way. Oh, I saw this ad, high definition television. I want to know. Many times you call too. Can you tell me what is the cost? When is this product going to be available? Blah blah blah, and all those things. That is inquiry. And after inquiry, you ask that person on other side of the phone who is talking to you, can you submit me quotation? I want to talk to my family. How much is television going to cost to me? And after that order, customer decided, yeah, I want to make it, place an order. Check the status. You get delivery of the product. You get an invoice from your customer. You finalize it. This is the typical inquiry, quotation, sales order, delivery, invoicing process. Now, I want to talk to the next process, service. So I talked about sales. Let me repeat what I talk in sales. I talked about sales planning. I talked about territory management, account management, contact management, activity management, opportunity management, and then in the last we talked about inquiry to quotation cycle. These are some of the processes which are there in SAP sales. They're not all. Now we're going to talk about service. You sold the TV. Something goes wrong with the TV. You ordered gray color, you got white color. It got a scratch, it got damaged. This is not the brand you look for, this is not the model you want. Anything goes wrong. Service. That is where the service comes into the picture. So in SAP CRM, your various, you can create interaction center, you see that here? Interaction center is a fancy name of call center. You can use SAP CRM to do that. There is something called a CTI, which is computer telephone interface. Means many times when you make that 800 number call, it's talked to SAP CRM software. And also remember very nicely, say dial 1 for this, dial 2 for this, put your account number, put the last 4 digits your social security number. What is happening at that time? That is CTI, computer telephone interface. Your telephone is talking to a software. It is also called IVR. Your voice response. You can do that in this. You can do a repair order, return order. Repair basically means somebody have to repair. Return means customer says, I don't want this TV, you give it to me, it got a scratch, I don't want it, I want to send it back. Return. I don't like it. You also do field service, scheduling, dispatching and all that. Remember I give an example, you have an internet, something goes wrong, I'm sorry, it's not internet, not working, can you send somebody to fix it? They said, yeah, Tuesday between 2 to 4, somebody will come. There is scheduling, you can do an SAP CRM. This is the complete process to handle any kind of after-sales service issues. See the return request. Customer says, I don't want this TV, done. This is not what I want, sorry, you give me wrong product. Return. Customer says, well, I like TV. It's the only problem with this cable, give me cable. It's spare part delivery. Customer says, I'm returning this product, give my money back. Credit request. Debit request. It's not that customer charges you. You charge customer as well. Debit. We undercharged you, we did a mistake. we forgot, we simply two product, we all forgot to charge for one level. And you can configure any other action. And see that it integrates with the backend ECC. Another very important part of our SAP is warranty. Or in repair process or return process or service process, warranty is an important aspect. So in SAP CRM, you can maintain, manage, create, determine your warranty. I'm creating a sales order, I want to know whether this customer has a warranty, whether this warranty is active, whether what is included in this warranty. I'm sorry sir, we can't do this, we cannot change that in the warranty, we can do this with the warranty. So what is included or excluded in the warranty? So warranty check. Another thing is return material authorization. Let us say you are buying something from Amazon.com. You got a wrong product. You want to return it back to Amazon.com. What will you do? Huh? Ship it back. You will ship it back. But before you will ship it back, you need authorization to ship it back. You can call somebody, I'm sorry, you sent me wrong book. I want to return it, send it back to you. You will call them, they will give you, sometimes they give you return labels. They will give return boxes also. You put the material in this return box and send it back to us. That is return material authorization. You will ship the material back to the customer upon its authorization to send it back to the import. You can do in SAP CRM. Alright. Next part is CRM marketing. But before I go in CRM marketing, I want to recap that in service, what we can do. I talked to you guys in service and CRM, like a few slides. If you want to go really in the detail of SAP that, there's a 600 pages PDF. Page PDF. I'm talking to you in 5 slides. It's a little bit too much of a summarization. But the message which I want to give you that is that much level of in-depth detail is there in each of those topics. Service itself, marketing, service, and sales. 3 of them has approximately 500 to 600 PDF of each. If you combine all the 3 together, we're talking about 2,000 pages. Now, why I'm saying this information to you is so you can get a little bit of a glimpse and idea that how much robust and detailed capability and functionalities are available. I'm just giving you a quick summary of various functions. Marketing. In service, we talked about how we can return product. We talk about credit memo. We talk about debit memo process. We talk about the spare part delivery process. We talk about the warranty management. We talked about how we can do return material authorization. These are some of the very commonly used business processes, but there are many beyond that. Marketing. Marketing is finding prospect. I started sales process with sales planning. I'm starting marketing process with the marketing plan. Now, what is the marketing process? Now, marketing planning or campaign planning. Now, in our day-to-day life, you go to Walmart, you go to JCPenney, you go to Macy's, you will see that there is some 5% off on these shoes, on that shirt, on that trouser, on this electronic item, right? Somebody has planned that. It's not happening randomly. If you go into some any of these stores, there's some buy one get one free. You go to Pathmark and Pepsi bottles and buy 5 bottles, you get 1 bottle for free. You're having coupons and all that coming. They're all various marketing activities. And they are not happening randomly. All those activities which is being done when you walk into that store, they have been planned upfront. And that is an example of campaign planning and market planning. How many campaigns we gonna do? Which product we gonna do? How we gonna do campaign? What is the method of campaign? Somebody say 5% discount. Why 5? Why not 7? Why not 4? Which product we gonna do it? And why those products? Why not others? These are examples of marketing campaign planning. There's some strategic planner. He's perform market analysis, defining strategies. There's a marketing manager. He's marketing budgets, targets. Because when you're doing market, there's a budget also, right? So somebody go to Pathmark, go to ShopRite, and this Pepsi bottle, there is a balloon there, and there is a coupon there, buy one. Somebody investing money into those activities. Plan, monitor, campaign cost, uplift volume. Uplift volume. Why do we do? Why do we give 5% discount? Because your volume will go up. Probably rather than 100 bottles, you can say 150 bottles. So you incur the cost here, but you get more revenue. And then you ensure ability. In the last, you calculate your expected profit. I incur the cost, I got more revenue. This is my profit of doing this campaign. If I do not get that expected profit, then my campaign is failed. We didn't succeed in the campaign. Another, probably, I have a good news for you guys. You're watching. I'm going to tell you time. It's fun. It's only 55 minutes long. It's only 54 left now. It's passing very quick. Okay. Normally it's not a good idea to take a class after the long lunch break. I'm sorry? What is that?
Long Saturday class.
Long Saturday class. I do it every week, sir. That's good. I do it. That's okay. We will gonna finish soon.
I want to motivate you. That watch will run very fast. Okay, let's pay attention. Customer segmentation. Now, in marketing, this customer segmentation is very important. Probably this is the most important. Remember, I mentioned to you success of your campaign. Now, one of the very important parameter of success is understanding your customer segmentation. Now, customer segmentation is the process of classifying your customers on the basis of certain parameters. Those parameters could be socio-demographic, behavioral, miscellaneous. Now, what is the socio-demographic segmentation criteria? You will see here age, gender, profession, etc. It's very important because if I'm doing a campaign, who I'm doing campaign to? A lot of these companies are very, very smart in understanding your buying behavior. That's how they succeed. I don't know, you make a notice or not, you go to Amazon.com, for example. Like I buy a lot of SAP books, being a SAP person. Anytime there is a SAP book coming up, they will send a note to you. I get an email. I buy a lot of books on science, I have interest. Anytime there is a book in physics, I will get an email. They keep in track of this person's interest. You go to YouTube, what kind of videos you are watching, they will give you a suggestion automatically. Segmentation criteria. Age, gender, profession, region, geographic. Profession is very important. How many people are there who are doctors? We have this medicine meet for doctors. We have this meet for people aged 65 and above. A lot of people do RFM, recency, frequency, monitoring. How many customer, recency basically means how many customers are there who has recently purchased a house. And then guess what? Insurance companies, emails and letters will keep coming. It happens. Frequency. I was given an example of Amazon.com. If you are buying certain books, you will get an email notification automatically. Monitoring is very important. How many people are there whose annual income is between 100,000 and 200,000? How many people are there between 40,000 and 60,000? And they will give you product line on the basis of their market. And of course, communications, attitude, interest. Interest is very important. How many people are there who are interested in cooking? How many people are there who are interested in gardening? Interested in playing soccer? And then you will do the marketing part. Because if you are sending emails, if you are calling people, if you are doing campaign, you need to understand who you are calling to, who you are emailing to. So, if I say in the marketing of SAP CRM or any CRM, if there is a one functionality which is probably is the most important, is customer segmentation. And a lot of companies pay a lot of amount, a lot of analysis they do. Think about Amazon.com guys. They are just doing segmentation. They have a huge engines to just do customer segmentation. Understanding you, understanding your pattern, understanding your behavior, understanding your habits, and then they're deciding based upon your habits, interests, inclinations, what they can say to you. Even the new term, I don't know if I put it here, there's also something called social CRM nowadays. Social CRM. Salesforce.com is very good on that. They will take the data from the social sites like Twitter and Facebook and others, and they will make profile. And they will decide which product to sell, who to sell, what product is there, what buzz about the product, and doing the campaigning on that product. I was doing a project in one of the wholesale distribution of the certain wine and beverages. They will use social data to say that people are talking about which brand. And they will market and campaign on the basis of understanding the behavior of the customer. That level of data mining. So segmentation is very important, and it is increasingly becoming even more and more and more. Google keep track of your searches. Every search you do, they make a pattern about you with your searches. So it's a customer segmentation, of course, very important. There is whole segment builder and all that in SAP CRM. Very, user-friendly interface. SAP and user-friendly, it doesn't go together most cases. Remember I was talking about what is the difference between SAP and Oracle is? SAP is never user-friendly that much. It's very robust, very good. But when it comes to user interface, it's not good. But it's very good segment builder they have, where you can do segmentation, take basically what most corporations do is that they have a 6 million customer, take the data of a customer, put into segmentation builder, put the various parameters, and then create a profile. Okay, how many customer with this profile? How many customer with this profile? Okay, with this customer we can target this. With this customer we can target this. We cannot sell this to this customer. No, this customer is waste. Those kind of decisions. When you open your mailbox and somebody sending you a letter, right? If somebody selling a credit card or somebody selling you something, somebody making you profile by the way. Campaign management. So now they made your profile or your customer's profile. You are also customer for someone. I am customer for someone. We are all customer for someone. And then planning preparation basically means identifying whether to this person, Dilip Sadh, whether we need to send email or not. Whether to this person, Jenny, we should send this email or not. No, this is not a good profile. We send it to this person on the basis of whatever criteria. Right? And then we do campaign, automation, simulation, optimization, all these things you can do. Simulation optimization basically means if I do a campaign with this target group, what is my outcome? I don't want to waste my time. I want to do my target group. And then we have you can do your campaign multi-channel, multi-way. Multi-channel. Multi-channel basically means you are emailing, channel 1. You are putting on TV, channel 2. Putting on net, internet, channel 3. Sending text message, channel 4. Sending in a phone call, channel 5. Multi-wave, doing multiple times, sending every 3 months. Monitoring analysis. I did this campaign. What really happened out of it? What is my financials? What was my profit? We did this campaign, we did this whole data, we made a blasting of the email. Did we got any customer at all? What do we get out of marketing? SAP marketing or any marketing for that matter. What is the outcome? Lead. And you see this? Multiple arrows, telephone, web, mobile, external list. an outcome from all of them, you keep producing various prospects. And then see, lead qualification. You can classify, system can automatically classify your prospects on the basis of certain parameters. It can tell you that how many leads are there which are cold, how many leads are there which is warm, how many leads are there which are hot. Because if your lead is cold, you don't waste your time. You can define your lead qualification parameters, and system can automatically qualify the lead for you. And you can also say, if my lead is hot, immediately send a mail to the salesperson. And if our lead is warm, send it to another person. And once you take your leads, it becomes opportunity management. And after opportunity management, hopefully it comes into the customer. There are two funnels here. This is funnel number 1. This is funnel number 2. In SAP CRM or any CRM for that matter. The whole idea is very simple. To make this funnel of the customer grow and grow and large and large. This is the whole idea. How we can have a large customer base, a sustainable customer base. We find prospects, we convert them into customer. The whole idea of SAP CRM or any CRM is transforming prospects into loyal customer. Remember, I mentioned to you customer life cycle, loyal customer which is going to stay with you, not once he comes and then goes. That is what SAP CRM or any CRM is about. I briefly want to talk about web channels. Obviously, web is very important. Every company wanted to reach his customer through web channels. Apple.com is a web channel. Amazon.com is a web channel. BestBuy.com is a web channel. And what is there on Apple? What do you do in Apple.com? You can do, they are doing their marketing, they are doing their selling, they are doing their service, and they can do report. You can go to the apple.com and see what kind of product there, what is their cost, demand generation. You can place an order. You have some kind of problem about some of the product that you can understand them. And all of them is part of the CRM web channel. Using SAP CRM, you can create web channel. You guys heard about B2B and B2C? How many of you? Most of you except few, 1 or 2 guys. You can do SAP, in using SAP CRM, you can create B2B and B2C, both portals can be created. And you can do your e-marketing, e-selling, e-service, all of it. Benefit e-commerce, of course, we know what is the benefit. Customer can go to any site and place an order. They don't need to call you. You don't have to call. They have information available. They make a decision on the basis. That is the whole idea. If you go to apple.com, agent.com, why they are successful on agent.com? Because it's a free. Anytime at 10 o'clock in the night, 5 o'clock in the morning, whenever I want, I make a decision. I pass. It's 24/7. Interaction center, or in the plain language is called call center. Everybody has faced call center. Do you like call centers? No. Nobody like call center. Dial 1 for this, dial 2 for this, dial 3, 0 for customer service. No. Me too. Nobody like to call number one. I get irritated. Even before I say number one for this, number two, I say zero. Customer service person, let me talk to a person. But remember, I talked to you about CTI, computer tele interface. Now, what is CTI? CTI, so customer, this is customer, happy customer, is smiling for a change. He's not in CRM class such at 3 o'clock, that's why he's smiling. And we interface and talk to you, give a call through telephone, through postal letters, through web, through IVR. IVR stands for interactive voice response. That dial 1, dial 2, dial 3 is interactive voice. If you say dial 2, then they will talk about, okay, are you talking about this? You want to put your phone, bill, you're talking about service, if it is a service, okay, you're talking about this product, and then this is email. So you can create a call center using a, if I oversimplify this slide, the customer can reach you through all these channels. They can send an email, IVR, web, postal letter, telephone. Behind the scene, this is the call center. These are the various functions in the call center. In the call center is nothing but software, is CRM. All these call centers are using some kind of CRM. Partner channel management. Many companies do not sell directly. For example, SAP, they don't sell directly. Whatever they do through their channel partners. Who is their channel partner? IBM, Accenture, many companies. There are 15,000 channel partners. If you want my product, talk to my channel partner. You want to buy SAP license, talk to IBM, talk to this. You don't buy SAP directly from SAP. If you want to buy SAP license, for example, SAP will not sell you directly. You have to talk to SAP's channel partner. And SAP will sell to their channel partner going to sell to you. Now there are many companies who work in that way. So SAP CRM also allow you to manage your channel partners. This is another functionality in trade promotions. Now where the trade promotion come into the picture? Let's take an example of buying a Pepsi bottle, buying a Coke bottle. If you're buying a Pepsi bottle, you don't order from Pepsi, you go to Walmart, right? You go to see it, or other grocery stores. Now this is your grocery store. This is Coke. This is Coca-Cola. This is ShopRite. This is you. You want to buy Pepsi bottles, you go to ShopRite store, you buy from there. This is manufacturer, retailer, consumer. Now, manufacturer wanted to do certain campaign. If manufacturer Coca-Cola want to do some campaign and attract more consumers, what they have to do? They have to go to retailers. So pay attention. If you go to ShopRite or Walmart, many of those coupons and all that which you see, buy one, two, one, and any two for the $10 and all that, all those different combinations, they are not done by a retailer. They will be done by original manufacturer. That is example of trade promotion. This is a specific example of marketing. In that you have a lot of commercial argument. If you do this, if you spend that much amount, I'm gonna pay this much, you're gonna pay this much. If you do this product, I'm gonna pay this much, you're gonna pay this much. There's a lot of contractual obligation between two parties. I have a good news. I'm sorry? What is that? Huh? You saying something? If you guys are not interested in class, you can leave. I'm fine with that. This is not a torture room. This class is not mandatory at all. Choice. Any questions you have? Questions you guys have? Okay. So, keeping in the view, the rest of the class and all that. I was planning to go to 3 o'clock, but I dislike teaching uninterested class, so I'm stopping it. I will be teaching on the phone, so that way at least I will not hear all those negative comments and all that, so it will be more motivating for me though. So I'm stopping the class here. And November 6th, you will have class. You will be muted on the November 6th class of conference room, so at least I will not be hearing your negative